Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Faraz Janan Khatak, President at Oxford University, Pakistan Society. Mr. Rafiullah Kakar, General Secretary, Pakistan Society, their team, and Farooq Arsalan, spokesperson, my dear colleague, Mahmood Khan Atakzai, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum. I pay tributes to Benazir Bhutto, whose portrait is in this Hall of Fame. As the Prime Minister of Pakistan, as the Speaker of the National Assembly, as federal ministers, and as the Prime Minister of Pakistan, we had faced many challenges. And those challenges, which I want to mention here, number one was democracy, two, terrorism and extremism, three, major electricity shortages, fourth, major reforms. I'll touch them one by one. 1973 Constitution. That Constitution was given at a time in 1973 by all political parties and during the premiership of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. Each and every dictator used to say, we will bring democracy back to Pakistan. But how can you bring a democracy back to Pakistan? The only way you have to bring democracy back to Pakistan is to restore the 1973 Constitution of Pakistan. By dictatorial regimes, there were presidents who made amendments in the Constitution. And through many amendments in the Constitution, our system was neither parliamentary nor presidential form of government. It was just like a hodgepodge. And it was during my time, with the support of my coalition partners, that we restored the 1973 Constitution in toto. That, I think, was the biggest success for Pakistan. In fact, when we brought democracy back and the parliamentary system to Pakistan, there was a one clause which was extremely important. Out of 104 amendments in the Constitution, which were made by 446 members and unopposed, the biggest was 58(2)(b) of the Constitution. At that time, 58(2)(b) of the Constitution, the President had the powers to sack the Prime Minister and the government and the Parliament. That was the hanging sword on democracy of Pakistan. But during our time as a Prime Minister, we deleted 58(2)(b) of the Constitution, and that is the basis for making democracy stable. And therefore, no president has the powers to exercise 58(2)(b) and sack the sitting Prime Minister who has not been elected by 180 million people. There was another amendment which was 91, Article 91 of the Constitution. According to 91 of the Constitution, only the Prime Minister, the Minister, and the Minister of States, they were answerable to the National Assembly of Pakistan. But with this amendment, we made the Parliament powerful and made the Prime Minister and his cabinet answerable to both the houses, the upper house and the lower house. It was extremely important for the stability of democracy in Pakistan. There were no representation of minorities. in the upper house. And prior to that, People's Party's government, they gave 2 Muslim seats of the Senate to the minorities. But we made the amendment in the Constitution that in future there would be representation of minorities to the upper house. I think that was the major contribution during my tenure for the minorities. There was another clause which was extremely important, that you can't become a prime minister 3rd time. But according to the Constitution which was given by the founding fathers, there was no restriction. But when we had to restore the Constitution in original, then we have to delete this, amend this Constitution as well, that one can become the Prime Minister of Pakistan the 3rd time. And today, Mr. Nawaz Sharif is the Prime Minister because of this amendment. We made another amendment in the Constitution that was most probably 25A, that is education for all, that every child should study. That was made compulsory through the Constitution. The biggest demand of the smaller provinces was the provincial autonomy. And that was the demand from even the founding father, Mr. Jinnah, Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And during our time, we gave the provincial autonomy to the provinces. That was another great step forward for the deprived provinces, smaller provinces. That was also extremely well taken. Now the biggest threat to Pakistan at the moment is terrorism and extremism. And the future generation from Pakistan who are present in this hall too, they are concerned about terrorism and extremism. I held several all parties conferences. I took the parliament into confidence, ordered for a military operation in Swat and Malakand. 2.5 million IDPs, internally displaced persons, they were affected. But they were sent back to their homes in less than 90 days. That was unprecedented in the international or the world history. Never before this happened, that 2.5 million people going back to their homes within less than 90 days. Now, I can compare you with Afghanistan. When Soviet Union invaded Kabul, at that time, there were 3.5 million refugees came to Pakistan. And they are still here, they're married here, their education is here, their businesses are here, and the world, they have forgotten about them. They even don't remember that they were the refugees who came to Pakistan, and they're still here, but we as Pakistanis, and because of our Muslim brotherhood, we are looking after them. We paid huge price for terrorism and extremism in the form of casualties and also in the form of economy. There is another challenge, that is electricity shortages. We have added 3,400 megawatts to the national grid during my tenure. Dozens of our projects are in the pipeline. Pakistan-Iran gas pipeline, I think this is an extremely important project. And if we work on it, that can create a lot of opportunities in Pakistan in solving this problem. Gawada port, the management handed over to China. I think this would be also a step forward. Damir Bhasha Dam, you have seen that the dam which is Kalabagh Dam, became extremely controversial and political. Now, according to the 18th Amendment in the Constitution, there is a Council of Common Interest. And you cannot start any project which is of a national importance without the approval of the Council of Common Interest. I brought this issue of Diamir Bhasha Dam in the Council of Common Interest, where all the 4 chief ministers were present in that meeting. And they wanted to delay the matter. I said, no, you have to sit the whole night and to decide about the future of the Diamir Bhasha Dam. I don't want to make it another Kalabagh Dam, controversial. Therefore, I gave the approval for the Diamir Bhasha Dam, and I think it will be, and I even laid the foundation stone for Diamir Bhasha Dam, and I think if this is one of the biggest projects, and we want those projects which are not controversial, they should be started immediately. The third challenge is, which I mentioned, was the major reforms in the country. I released all the political prisoners in Pakistan. All the political prisoners who were arrested during the previous tenure of a dictator, I released them during my time. I released the deposed judges on my very first day and restored the judges through executive orders. I gave the 7th NFC award, which for the 19 years, it was never implemented even by dictators. I gave the FCR rules. That is, we extended the political party system to FATA. There are students who met me today, they belong to FATA. That FCR rules, now the political parties have a role, they should be brought to the mainstream in politics for the stability of the democracy in the country. There was a name called Kala Dhaka. Even during Britishers' time, 112 years back, this was never solved. This was solved, and now it's a part of the provincial government, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, after 112 years. We started Agaz-e-Haqooq-e Balochistan. That is not that we have done something for that, but at least we took initiatives so that we should accept the realities which were brought to us by all the political parties and the leaders of Balochistan. The major issue is the Kashmir issue. For the first time in the history of Pakistan, that Dr. Manmohan Singh, the Prime Minister of India, and myself, like this, standing doing a press conference, and we said we both have agreed to resolve all core issues, including Kashmir, including Sir Creek, including Siachen, including democracy, and even in Sharm el-Sheikh we said the interference in Balochistan. That came in the media, and when the question was raised to Dr. Manmohan Singh that Mr. Gilani has said this, he said, yes, we have discussed. That was for the first time that has been discussed because we wanted good relations with our neighbors. We made the parliament strong, we made the parliament vibrant, and I gave the time to the parliament, and I think it will come in the Guinness Book of Record how much sessions I attended, and I used to give answers of the ministers myself, and all policy statements were made on the floor of the House. That means our institution, for the public, institution of 180 million people, the only institution is the parliament. If we make the parliament strong, then there is no need to be threatened by other institutions. For example, during my tenure, there are a lot of people witness that the establishment, the services chiefs, the joint chiefs, the DGISI, and all the establishment, they were answerable to the parliament, and they used to feel proud to come before the parliament and to answer. That was the change I gave to the people of Pakistan, and I have never seen in my lifetime any army chief is coming before the parliament to answer. We started Benazir Income Support Program. That is the flagship program of Pakistan, and through which we are giving a lot of assistance to millions of people. And that program is so internationally recognized and supported that even the present government has not banned. It is still there for the last 6 years, and people are benefiting out of this. We did a lot for women empowerment. And that is, I used to say, my constituency is women and minorities. Therefore, we brought a lot of changes, reforms for women empowerment, and for the first time, we made the governor of Gilgit-Baltistan, she was a lady. And our speaker, she was a lady. Our foreign minister, she was a lady. And BISP program, who headed, she was a lady. And in many areas, there were ladies who were serving. And not only this, even woman person was a lady. And we gave freedom of press. That is the focus in the West and everywhere, that you want a free media. And we gave a lot of incentives to them. And media, we deleted all the draconian laws. And we gave the access to information. And we made them so powerful that even when there was some curbs on them through the previous government, that means General Musharraf's time, Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto, she came immediately within 24 hours, and she came and she supported the judiciary and the media. Because I think if media is strong, the governments are stable. And we want to give them more powers. And one thing I tell you, there were no political prisoners in my tenure as who was a political prisoner. There was none. And that was for the first time in the history of Pakistan. We brought labor laws to give more facilities to the labor. Youth. There are 60 to 65% youth in Pakistan. That's the country where they have the future. And I think the youth can play an extremely important role for building Pakistan. And I think that the leadership, younger leadership, can play an important role. For example, when there was a Salala incident in Pakistan took place, immediately I boycotted the Bonn conference and stopped NATO supplies. And we asked them to vacate Shamsi base, asked for an apology. And I discussed with the President of the United States that now new terms of engagement would be settled between Pakistan and the United States. And I referred the matter to the Parliamentary Committee on National Security. And that was for the first time this ever happened, that took place, that we took a stand. For economy, political stability leads to economic stability. Therefore, as a foreign policy, we want to maintain excellent relations with Afghanistan because we are considered to be twin brothers. If anything is happening in Afghanistan, similarly, that's happening in Pakistan too. Others will leave Kabul, but we as neighbors, we have to stay for the rest of our life together. Therefore, for me, the most important capital in the world is Kabul. As I mentioned, political stability leads to economic stability. My focus was that there should be political stability. And it was extremely difficult for me, though I was unanimously elected Prime Minister in the history of Pakistan, though I was the longest serving Prime Minister in the history of Pakistan, though we created history and became relevant that our government completed 5 years term for the first time in the history of Pakistan. But at the same time, there are problems that people have to decide how to work with coalition partners. I was lucky that I did well, performed well with my coalition partners. They really worked with us together and they played an extremely important role for the stability of Pakistan. And even in investments in the country, Pakistan is the only country where 30% on investment is the profit. You can make fortune in Pakistan. And I also appreciate the role of overseas Pakistanis. And there are 1.3 million Pakistanis in UK. 8 million Pakistanis out of 88 countries around the world. In UK, there are lots of parliamentarians that are they are in the House of Lords, 7 members, in House of Commons, 7 members, European Union, about 3 members, and 300 mayors and councillors, they are from Pakistan. Now we, the Pakistani people, as ambassadors living abroad, and overseas people, they can play an extremely important role. They have brought a lot of remittances to Pakistan. We salute them, we are proud of them. And you are ambassadors of Pakistan, you are doing really hard job, and through education also, you are doing a lot of work, and I'm proud of you. One thing which I think is extremely important is the Charter of Democracy. The Charter of Democracy was signed in London between the former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto and the former Prime Minister Mr. Nawaz Sharif. But at that time, whatever was agreed between them, you'll be delighted to hear that about 80% of the Charter of Democracy was implemented during my time. And the 20% which has not been implemented, that is not because of me, that is because had the opposition cooperated, we would have also implemented. But now, if the government wants to do so, we as a party are ready to help them. We will really help them if they want to implement the Charter of Democracy. Now, after hearing the challenges, I still feel that Pakistan has a great future. And a great future because we need some consistency in the policies. If 2 governments complete their tenure and we sitting in the opposition, we are a responsible opposition. Some people, they think that we are supporting the government. But to be very honest, we are supporting democracy. We are supporting the Constitution of Pakistan. We are supporting the Parliament of Pakistan. And we are supporting 180 million people of Pakistan. We are not with the government, but we are for the Constitution. Because we gave the Constitution, we restored the Constitution. Therefore, we will not allow the Constitution to be abolished again, because we had paid a huge price for that. And our great leader, who was the founding father of the Constitution, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, he was hanged. And Benazir Bhutto, she was assassinated. And we paid a huge price for that.